right, welcome back to another After Dark, everybody. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. I had this one requested of me a little while back. This was in a members section. This one is titled, this is a Cosgrove video. I love this freaking channel. And this one is, this video will make you say, wow, I didn't know that at least once. Yep, simple title, and we have no idea what it's about, so no need to ramble on an intro. Let's see what these stories are all about, because Cosgrove always, I don't think I've ever clicked on a Cosgrove video without learning a whole bunch of stuff, so it's that type of day. It's the learning cap kind of day. So anyways, you guys, I'm gonna link the original video down below in the description like I always do. You also see a list of channel members. Shout out to you guys. Hope you all are doing well. I appreciate your support. Everybody, please like the video, hype the video if you could. I'd appreciate it. Let's get right into this one.
You know, I always find it crazy how no matter how long you've been watching the NBA, there's always something new to learn about. So in today's video, I put together a bunch of NBA facts that even the most hardcore basketball fans might not know. And
yeah, if you guys didn't watch my morning reaction about the Woo Hoops thing with the Buffalo Braves, and you don't know about it, like I went in blind, I highly recommend it. A very interesting story.
Honestly, if this video manages to teach you even one thing you didn't already know about the league, I'd consider that a success in my book.
I bet it will. Learning new stuff every day. It's one cool thing about doing this channel. Constantly learning new things.
Oscar Robertson's career in Cincinnati was remarkable. Rookie of the Year, perennial All-Star, NBA MVP, and was able to average a triple-double for an entire season in just his second year in the league. But as brilliant as Oscar's individual numbers were, there was one question that kept haunting him. Could he actually win?
All of a sudden there was a campaign by some writers said I hadn't done anything. I've made All-Pro every year.
Despite his greatness, Robertson's Cincinnati Royals couldn't break through in the postseason. In fact, during his entire time there, the team managed to win just 2 playoff series.
Wow.
By 1969, attendance was dropping. The team had missed the playoffs 2 straight years, and something had to change. That's when the franchise made a surprising hire, bringing in Celtics legend Bob Cousy as their new head coach.
Okay, I've already learned multiple things.
But he wasn't just there to coach, he wanted to play. Cousy was 41 years old and had been retired for 6 years. In an attempt to spark fan interest, Cousy did the unthinkable. He actually suited up again, joining the roster as a player coach. For 7 games, he shared the backcourt with Oscar Robertson, but Oscar hated it. He didn't want to share the spotlight, especially with a man whose best playing days were clearly behind him.
41 years old and retired now 6 years, Bob Cousy inserted himself into the lineup at point guard for 7 games.
The whole thing was kind of weird. When Bob Cousy activated himself, we all as a team maybe in some way lost a little respect for him.
Bob Cousy and Oscar didn't speak to each other that often.
The two...
I mean, I kind of get it though, because like the Bill Russell thing was like he was the player and they needed a coach, so he stepped up to do the coaching responsibilities as well. In this case, he was hired here to be the coach, not to be a player. So to activate yourself as a player at 41 years old, when your job was to coach this team because you haven't made the playoffs in 2 years, yeah, it is a bad look. It's basically Bob Cousy saying, you guys can't do it. You need me. You know, you need me out there to do it. Like, me coaching is not enough. So, yeah, this is one way to lose the locker room immediately.
Cousy and Robertson never quite saw eye to eye, and the tension between Oscar and the front office began to boil.
What did Bob know about basketball that I didn't know?
Behind the scenes, rumors swirled. Some said Cousy resented how much attention Oscar got, the same player who had broken many of his records from his Celtics days. Whatever the truth was, the relationship between Robertson and the Royals was shattered. Before the 1970-71 season, the franchise made a move that shocked everyone. The Cincinnati Royals traded Oscar Robertson, their franchise player, their star, their identity, to the Milwaukee Bucks. Oscar took it personally. He later said he'd never forget the way it went down.
You know, it was just, I mean, after all I've done for them.
While Cousy's Royals continued to fade into obscurity, the trade turned out to be the best thing that could have ever happened to Oscar Robertson. In Milwaukee, Robertson teamed up with a young superstar named Lemuel Cinder, the man the world would soon know as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And in their first season together, they dominated the NBA, cruising to an NBA championship in 1971. Meanwhile, the Royals' struggles only deepened. Attendance kept dropping, and by 1972, the team was forced to relocate entirely. Cousy and Robertson's uneasy partnership had unknowingly changed the course of two franchises forever. In 2001,
the only thing I'm going to say about that, and it goes back to a recent conversation I was having in the comments with you guys. It was regarding the top 10 list and all that, and Kareem's placement. And I remember one comment specifically, and it mentioned that I might have to rethink Kareem because he won all of his championships with an all-time great. And yes, Oscar is an all-time great, absolutely. But after watching this, it's making me realize he had zero playoff success before he ran into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So I don't think it's fair to discredit Kareem for always having a good point guard. You know, yes, he did have Magic Johnson too. I mean, I'm not trying to diminish anybody's role, but it's not like LeBron joining with like Dwayne Wade, like proven champion, and then you're going to join forces with him. You know what I mean? That's different because, you know, Oscar, well, he didn't win yet. You know what I mean? They had to become champions together. So I feel more, you know, that's like a Isaiah and like Dumars or like Jordan and Pippen kind of thing where they needed each other to win. But anyways, it was on my mind. I don't think we need to discredit Kareem at all because he played with two of the greatest point guards of all time. I don't think so, but let me know down below. So far, one story in, this is a pretty cool video.
Michael Jordan shocked the world by coming out of retirement as well to play for the Washington Wizards. Most basketball fans are well aware of this, but what's often forgotten is that before lacing up his sneakers again, Jordan wasn't just the minority owner for the Wizards. For a short period of time, he was actually a part owner of an NHL team as well. Yeah, you heard that right.
What?
Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player ever, once had a piece of a hockey franchise. It all started in January of 2000 when Jordan joined the Lincoln Holdings Group, the ownership entity that controlled the Washington Wizards. By coming on board, Jordan reportedly secured about a 10% ownership stake in the Wizards. But that wasn't the only thing that came with the deal. Because that same group also owned the Washington Capitals, Jordan automatically received around a 12% stake in the Capitals as well.
Wow.
So by investing in the Wizards, Michael Jordan also became a part owner of an NHL team.
Dude, I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan, and I didn't know this was a thing.
This wasn't just some random business move. Jordan was actually a fan of hockey and had friends in the sport, which is part of what drew him to the ownership group in the first place.
To a good friend, Wayne Gretzky. He's teaching me hockey. I don't know much about hockey, but I'm a fan of hockey.
Now, of course, being president of basketball operations meant that his time and energy were mostly devoted to the Wizards. He wasn't deeply involved in the Capitals' day-to-day decisions, but when he did show up, it was a big deal. Players reportedly got fired up whenever Jordan dropped by the locker room.
I bet. He still has that effect on people.
Even though he wasn't running the team, his presence alone was enough to leave an impression.
Yeah.
I knew I had to dive into the story and figure out exactly what Michael Jordan did as an owner of the Washington Capitals. Well, it turned out not a whole heck of a lot. It wasn't like MJ was in the owner's box diagramming power plays and stuff for the Capitals. What he did do is he went down to the locker room on a few occasions, and the players were awestruck, and they wanted to know more about being Michael Jordan. All those things that we see in The Last Dance are what the Capitals players back in 2000 wanted to know from Jordan.
Yeah, the presence of greatness, it's inspiring.
Jordan's time as an owner, well, at least when it came to those two Washington teams, didn't last very long. In September of 2001, he made a monumental announcement. He was coming out of retirement to play again, this time for the Wizards. And because NBA rules prohibit players from holding ownership stakes, Jordan had to give up his shares in both the Wizards and the Capitals to make his comeback possible. Now here's the wildest part. It was actually a hockey legend who helped inspire Jordan's return. Michael had become close friends with Mario Lemieux, one of the greatest players in NHL history.
Good friends, Mario, who I considered we came in at the same time, 84, won a championships at the same time, MVP at the same time, which I have so much respect for.
Around that same time, Lemieux had done something eerily similar. He retired from the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1997, bought a stake in the team in 1999, and then in 2000 made his own comeback as a player. Jordan watched Mario pull it off successfully, and it reignited something in him. Seeing Lemieux dominate again after years away from the game reminded Jordan that maybe his story wasn't over yet.
Wow. You're doing this, and then what kind of flipped the switch to make you fully decide to do this?
It took some time. I guess I got the notion that as I got closer and listened to Mario actually kick-started everything, I actually reminded him of put me through this, but
so while
the irony is I probably have heard that. I think I have heard that press conference, and when he mentions Mario, the last person I was thinking was Mario Lemieux. I didn't know he had any hockey ties whatsoever.
Most people remember Michael Jordan's second comeback as a Wizards chapter. Few realize it was briefly a hockey chapter too.
My favorite bit of trivia from the story, Capitals owner Ted Leonsis told me that Jordan signed a bunch of hockey pucks for players and staff when he was with the Capitals.
Nice.
Occasionally, Leonsis looks on eBay to see if any of those pucks might be on there. The fact that he hasn't yet found one of those pucks available for auction might be a thing where we understand that people want to hang on to it.
Yeah.
To remember the quirky, weird, surreal, but definitely happened time when Michael Jordan owned a professional hockey team.
Straight up. But I wouldn't sell that one unless I needed the money really bad. That's a crazy memento.
Now, you don't necessarily need to have an owner or a head coach come out of retirement in order to draw more fans. All you have to do is take a Chinese player in the draft and watch your ratings go through the roof. You know how everybody says that the NFL is king compared to the NBA when it comes to viewership? Which, to be fair, is true for the most part. But believe it or not, there was one game where the NBA actually beat out the NFL pretty badly on November 9th, 2007. An early regular season game between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Houston Rockets was watched by over 200 million people in China.
An estimated 200 million people woke up early in China to watch the game.
That number completely blew past the Super Bowl's viewership at the time. In fact, even the most recent Super Bowl didn't get as many viewers as this random early season NBA game. So what made this matchup so massive? It was about two players. This was the first time that Yao Ming and Yi Jianlian, two Chinese basketball stars, faced off against each other in the NBA. And in China, that was everything. They called it the Chinese Super Bowl. Yao would go on to score 28 points, while Yi put up a solid 19 of his own. The Rockets walked away with the win, but honestly, the final score
they did a press conference together too. That's awesome. Dude, can you imagine if Yao stayed healthy and he became like one of the greatest centers of all time and had a full healthy career? Like what that would have done revenue-wise and viewership-wise for the NBA? Crazy to think about, man. I was a big Yao fan, by the way.
Even matter. This was a cultural event. An entire country tuned in to see their two biggest basketball icons share an NBA court for the very first time. Now here's the confusing part. When you Google most watched NBA game of all time, it still says Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals between the Bulls and Jazz, which makes no sense because that game pulled in about 36 million viewers. Still incredible, but nowhere near 200 million. I mean, maybe they're just talking about the United States? Clearly I'm missing something.
Yeah, maybe it is just the United States views, because I know we use that game as a benchmark as far as comparing NBA finals versus this, you know, to gauge the peak of the league. But it's true. If we're not counting global views, that's different, because I wonder just how many Chinese viewers we're tuning in to just your average regular season Rockets game with Yao Ming in the starting lineup. Could be interesting.
Here, because by the numbers, this random Bucks-Rockets matchup in 2007 might actually be the most watched basketball game ever.
There's your matchup tonight, seen around the world.
We played, I don't know if y'all remember the kid, Yi Jillian or Yi, whatever, that played for Milwaukee.
He was supposed to be the next one.
Yeah, so he played, it was a night we played them. He was with Milwaukee. 200 million, bro.
Crazy.
Watch that game. I mean, more than people watch because of them two boys right there.
When I was watching The Last Dance the other day for like the millionth time, you know, the documentary about the 1998 Chicago Bulls, something hit me. I realized I don't think I've ever seen footage of them actually receiving their championship rings for that season. The show never mentioned it, so I decided to look it up on YouTube.
Wait a second. did they come back or? Okay, let's find out.
I just assumed that Michael Jordan would at least be there in a nice suit. But no, not only was he not in attendance, it turns out that 4 players who started for them the previous year weren't there either, including head coach Phil Jackson. Now, I knew that things got ugly in Chicago after their 6th title. Virtually every important figure from their dynasty was either pushed out or left on bad terms. But I didn't know that they didn't even bother having a proper ring ceremony. Instead, they just unveiled the championship banner and that was it. From what I've read, the remaining Bulls players received their rings backstage, while Jordan got his during his retirement press conference in January of 1999, which I would have known had I took the time to watch it that far in. We usually see role players who happen to switch teams get their rings later on when they visit with their new squad, but 4 starters missing? That's unheard of. Those kind of guys are supposed to be there on a night like that. Honestly, it didn't even feel like a celebration at all. It felt more like a funeral than a ceremony. Easily the saddest banner night in NBA history.
Remarkably.
And I don't blame the players who and Phil, that amount of disrespect, and it's like, I'm not going to show up anymore. The sad thing is the fans are caught in the crossfire, but I'm pretty sure all the Chicago fans at that point they turned against the ownership. They were all in favor of the players who were delivering them championship after championship. So that just, I don't blame them for not showing up. You can mail me my damn ring. My job's done, huh? That's the way the way the front office feels. Oh, you're old, job's done. Okay, you're out. So if that's the case, mail me my damn ring. My job is done.
Poignant, remarkably dramatic, but at the same time, obviously very, very sad.
Certainly some good times, but at the same time, you just go forward because you know what? Those guys are gone.
While I expected Michael Jordan to at least make an appearance at the banner ceremony, I did not expect Bill Walton to make an appearance in one of my favorite movies. It all started when I came across this clip the other day of Walton revealing that he actually auditioned for the role of the iconic Star Wars character Chewbacca.
I can totally see this. This could have been a fitting casting.
Is it true that you were in the mix to play Chewbacca?
Walton goes on to say that he didn't get the part, but he apparently had influence on the character. And by watching this clip, I also learned something else.
What? You were in Ghostbusters and people didn't know that. So again,
that definitely took me by surprise. So I looked into it, and sure enough, it's true. You just have to watch all the way to the very end to see him during the end credits. Filming for the original Ghostbusters took place between October 1983 to January 1984, and the climax of the movie was filmed at the real-life building at 55 Central Park West in New York City. Records confirm that Walton and the San Diego Clippers were in New York for a game on November 11th, 1983, placing Walton in the city when the ending of Ghostbusters was being filmed. I also recently...
That's it? They had him as an extra? What? Oh, man. Okay, wait. So he was just in the background then? So he wasn't even, like, supposed to be a paid actor is what I'm assuming? Like, he was just walking around and smiling like he always is because he was the happiest dude I've ever seen?
Found out that Seth...
All right, hold up.
The ending of Ghostbusters was being filmed. I also recently found out that Seth Curry was in the movie Juwanna Mann.
Did you guys know that Seth was in Juwanna Mann? Okay, so Seth is in when Seth was like 11, he was in the beginning of that movie, like walking down the street and there's some kids playing basketball in the front yard. Yeah. He's in that. And then the scene where when Vivica Fox's character catches Genuine's character in bed with the other girl, that was my parents' bed, like in the house.
Oh, what?
And then when Juwanna Mann goes and knocks on the door to punch Genuine, that was the door of our house. Like,
you and I have something in common.
We do.
We do. My film Juwanna Mann, which was a basketball film, we filmed it in Charlotte, North Carolina. Trivia: we filmed the house scenes at your in-laws' house.
Yes. Wow.
I know. So I met your husband when he was like 10, 11 years old. Oh, wow. And then he starts balling in the NBA.
When we first started dating, that was his claim to fame. Juwanna Mann was
And I might as well mention the fact that Aisha was in Hannah Montana. A video has recently surfaced of a young Kobe Bryant at a Phillies Mets game in 1990.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Home run, Darryl Strawberry.
Okay.
After the knockdown, he answers the best way you can.
Yeah, Darryl Strawberry, I was a huge Darryl Strawberry fan, okay? Huge Darryl Strawberry fan. until like all the drugs and all that, and then he got traded to the Dodgers, and then he kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth. For me as a kid, you know, no internet or anything, to me he just disappeared. I figured it was because of the drugs and all that. And that being said, I have like 81 of his cards, I believe. I think I still have them, so they're in a binder. I have like, it's stupid, I was obsessed with Darryl Strawberry as a kid, but I wasn't the only one. Can you guess who that is?
Kobe grew up in the Philadelphia area around that same time, so it makes sense that he would be at a Phillies game. You may be wondering why he's celebrating a home run that was hit by Darryl Strawberry, who played for the opposing team. Well, according to Kobe, that was his team growing up, mainly because he idolized Darryl Strawberry.
Well, among those standing on their feet hoping to see a comeback by the Dodgers, Lakers star Kobe Bryant. I went over to talk to Kobe. I said, Kobe, you grew up in Philadelphia. Is it hard for this allegiance? He says, no way. He says, I've been in LA for 14 years. I said, what about when you grew up? He said, I was a Mets fan. He said, I wanted to be Darryl Strawberry.
Yep.
Skip Bayless has built his entire brand on being one of the biggest critics of LeBron James. For years, he's made headlines for his constant shots at LeBron, questioning his legacy, his clutch gene, and pretty much everything in between. And for just as long, LeBron has seemed to ignore it all. He's never given Skip the satisfaction of a direct response. But contrary to what a lot of fans believe, LeBron has acknowledged Skip Bayless before. Well, at least his existence. Not once, but twice. Both times on Twitter. The first time...
Interesting. Stephen A and Skip are great for sports, even though I personally don't agree with a lot of what they say. This is 2011. They have their own opinions. Next year... how do you feel about Skip Bayless? I don't feel anything. Never met or seen him a day in my life. Great for TV. Okay.
Came in 2011. Then, about a year later in 2012, he mentioned Skip again. Those two moments alone completely shut down the long-standing claim that LeBron has never mentioned him.
I mean, I'll give LeBron credit. Back then, he was taking the high road.
Even though LeBron has made it a point not to publicly engage with Skip, we at least know that LeBron is aware of who he is.
No shit, Sherlock!
Matter of fact, Skip himself once revealed that LeBron personally sent him a direct message on Twitter way back in 2009.
This was sometime in 2009. I was new to Twitter, and one Friday I glanced at my Twitter direct messages, my DMs, and I was shocked to see one that sure sounded like allegedly was from LeBron in my DMs. Well, it certainly appeared to be from LeBron, and it certainly sounded like LeBron. I wish I could have screen grabbed it at the time, but I didn't think to. Trust me, I did not imagine this.
Huh. I mean, but what did he say? That's what I'd be more interested in. Anyways, that's the end of the video. That's what I'd be more interested in is what did you guys talk about? I guess they didn't talk, but what was in that message? You know, was he telling Skip like, hey, ease up on it? You know, stop talking so much trash, or was he just like trying to like have a conversation? Anyways, guys, that Kobe Bryant, Darryl Strawberry thing is the craziest, just like similarity I've ever heard, because I never knew anybody else who was that obsessed with Darryl Strawberry. And then to find out Kobe Bryant was, you know, like over here in Arizona, I grew up without a baseball team. We didn't get a baseball team until later on, the Diamondbacks. But we didn't have a professional baseball team here, no major leagues. So, you know, being a fan of the New York thing because of my parents and where they came from, I was always like a Giants fan, and New York Giants, and I was always a New York Mets fan. That's just how I grew up. And then I was a Suns fan, but also a Bulls fan. And I liked the Knicks, but that's where it changed because I was so into basketball. Michael Jordan kind of like messed up my allegiances, you know, but it was more the home team, and then my favorite team, which was the Bulls. So, but I'll tell you, back then I had even more Darryl Strawberry cards than Michael Jordan cards, as crazy as that is. Like, I was obsessed with collecting them. I wanted them all. I wanted every single year of his career. I wanted his rookie card, like everything I can get my hands on. I would do it. I even tried to, like, you know, steal his batting style, and that didn't go so well. I was either a strikeout or a home run kind of guy, nothing in between. So baseball was not something I continued to play for a long time. But anyways, just so cool to hear that. Little did I know, Kobe's going through the same journey. You know, he did have the Phillies, but instead of rooting for his home team, he is obsessed with Darryl Strawberry. And I don't know how many of you guys are old enough to remember, but like, Darryl was a bad mofo, you know, kind of like Ken Griffey Jr. was when he came in. Like, just nothing bad you can say about the way he plays. Unfortunately, drug addiction. It reminds me of Bobby Brown too, because I was really into Bobby Brown when I was a kid. So like, first it was like Bobby fell to drugs, and then it was like Darryl fell to drugs, and I was like, damn, man, half of my heroes ends up working out this way. Anyways, you guys, this was a great video. Thank you for the recommendation. I learned so much. Now I know that the Mario that Jordan is talking about is Mario freaking Lemieux. Yeah, it's all crazy. And then that Oscar Robertson thing, man, like I had no idea. I had no idea what brought him to Milwaukee, and that team up with Kareem was so good. They landed it on the first season together. So how crazy is that? Anyways, you guys, I am out of here. What was your favorite story out of these? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the vid if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe plus if you want to support my channel. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends.